how are you doing these days? You seem passionate, uh, 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 and spirited. Do you feel good? How do you feel? I know you said you feel good, but do you feel good?
You sound like one of the rappers at the first hip hop shows back in the day. I know I said, "Do you feel good?"
Right.
Oh, the truth of the matter is, I'm great. I'm
Okay.
I'm um I'm gonna tell you something. It's been a year, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say I'm a political prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
I find it amazing that in 2021 that someone who lives in a country as America can still have some of their constitutional rights removed from them
Mm-hmm.
legally,
Right.
and that we still continue to exist as Americans.
Right.
I would say that moving through the judicial system, watching my cases move through the judicial system, and being intelligent enough to not only follow the process but to interject myself in the effective ways within the process. One of our problems, and this is a misperception, is that a lot of black people are simply too ignorant of the judicial system, that when they get
Mm-hmm.
caught up in it, they lean and depend on their lawyers, but they don't have a clue what's really going on the
Yeah.
other hand.
Definitely.
One of the rights you have as a citizen, especially accused of a crime, is you have every right to understand the laws, the procedures, and when they screw up and what the penalties are, and how you legally go about making sure that if you're going to try me, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
try me by the letter of the law, not by your own opinions or prejudices or things like that. I will not let that go. I will go along with the system, but I will not let you pervert the system. And this process for me has been a process that not only it's been eye opening.
Mm-hmm.
We learn stuff every day. I've learned stuff about not just the system, but about my own people, about
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
traumatized we are as a people, how
Mm-hmm.
it may look easy, but it is not. How a lot of folks have found out that, yeah, we all upset, but not all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all want some reparations, but not all of us. We
Mm-hmm.
found out that a lot of us walk like us and talk like us, but when it comes down to what we want as a people, not all of us. And that
Mm-hmm.
right there is happening against the backdrop of what I call the fallout from the Trump days.
Right.
You see, we
Right.
got Sleepy Joe in the house right now. We don't know if the man gonna keel over in the middle of the meeting. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of people are praying, Lord, let them hang on for a little while longer. If Kamala get in there, it's gonna be, man, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be open season on brothers. So
He said he's running again. Joe did.
he ain't gonna run. Look, like Joe saying that. I'm gonna tell you something, Joe. And I'm talking to Joe right now. Joe, don't do it. Let me tell you why. Brother, you 80-some years old, bro. You saw what he did to Obama. When Obama came in, he looked like me. Had the black hair. He was playing basketball, had his shirt off. Remember that?
Yeah.
Obama was the sexy president. Two
Right.
years, 2 years in, he looked like George Bush and his wife. Remember his wife had the white hair?
Yeah.
Looked like he
Yeah.
was on the oatmeal box.
Yeah.
He looked
He.
old. My brother looked old.
Yeah.
I don't think that his health is gonna. This is just me talking. I don't think his health is gonna
Right.
allow him. But I'm glad. I mean, here's what happened. The president picks the vice president of the party that is supposed to be the future of the
Yeah.
party.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden said that Kamala Harris is the future of the Democratic Party.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I hate to say this publicly. When I ran for the presidency in 2016, Kamala Harris was one of the people that I ran against. She dropped out
Mm.
before I did.
Right.
She went broke trying to run. Nobody was trying to hear her message. People in Cali knew who she was. So when he picked her for VP, we were like Scooby Doo. Roll. What?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So now you see what has happened. Two of her senior advisors have quit within the last two. I know we ain't on this, but since we talking, I'll go ahead and say it. Keeping up with current events. Two of her advisors have quit in the past 2 weeks. Her communications director, her senior advisor, they quit, and they were advisors to Biden and Obama. So that should tell. And now, of course, they only roll her out when it's convenient. Like when he had to go have surgery, they had no choice. They was like, Lord, please let this man wake up.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So how am I feeling about? I'm feeling great these days because I can understand why what's happening to me is happening to me and happening to the movement. There's multiple things going on right now.
Okay.
And a lot of people, you can let them continue to do what they always do, which is demonize the black man in the media. Yep. They're not gonna talk good about it. Y'all stop wishing on a star. They're not going to do that. That's why we need our own black media network. And I don't mean somebody who got a name that they just made up, like the Black News Net News Channel or whatever they call themselves. But when you turn them on, they talking about the same stuff that the white boys is down the channel. So why are you wearing that name? We need our news.
Yeah.
We need what's happening in our world, not just on social media, but in our world.
Right.
There's two sides to every story. Y'all keep going with their version of the story. I'm gonna give you a prime example. They just had a tragedy in Michigan. Kid went to school, pulled out the heat, blasted everybody. That means somebody else done died today, right? It's a terrible situation. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But watch how the media spun it. When I first heard about it, they kept mentioning Detroit. So I'm going like, well, where's this place at? Place up, Chuck. I looked it up.
Yeah.
Like, who shot up the school? Where? And when I saw where it was, I looked at the demographics. 98.6% white.
Right.
0.1% black. Watch this. But when the news story came on, guess who they show talking about they broke up and they might have to change schools? A black person.
Right.
So if you don't know that bit about the place, the media got you thinking, oh, they're the black folks shooting up the schools in Detroit again. That's not what's going on. The media paints the picture.
40 minutes from Detroit, not even close
to nowhere. That's like me saying, you know what, it was a shootout. I'm from New York, but really I live all the way down in Camden somewhere.
Right.
I'm claiming New York. Like, no. But the point I'm making is the media. Just like with me, the media, if you notice, once these charges were brought against me, the media just stopped talking. Anything positive about me. All first, he's a presidential candidate. He's done this. He's done. Now all of a sudden, it was nothing but negative stuff until I went to court and got all that stuff blocked. Now they ain't got nothing to say now. They're not talking about the victories that are happening behind the scenes. They're not talking about the strong showing of the black folks when we filled up the courtroom.
Okay.
Filled it up.
Yeah.
Okay. They're not going to talk about that. So we have to have our own media. And a lot of these people on social media, people like yourself, y'all sitting in a fantastic position right now to give the other side of the story. For instance, black media, why won't y'all talk about the fact of what really happened with Ahmaud Arbery? Why won't y'all mention the fact that it was the Armed 2A movement of black frustrated people that scared those people in Brunswick so badly that they knew they had to figure this out because they never seen nothing like that before. Same thing in Stone Mountain, Georgia. They never seen nothing like that before. Same thing in Louisville, Kentucky, twice. They never seen nothing like that before. And Lafayette, Louisiana, they never seen nothing like that before. But every place that happened, there's been some type of justice. So the point I'm making is the black media, y'all want, they convicted them boys. But then you go out and show the people getting out the clown car who got hands in the air cheering, and we're going, y'all ain't had nothing to do with that.
Right.
The state prosecuted that case. You lawyers didn't prosecute that case. You're there for the civil. You're there for the change. We appreciate you being there, but don't act like y'all was there within weeks or days after this happened and that y'all went into them redneck neighborhoods and had the Klan roll. Remember I told you the Klan rolled up on us in the red Crown Victoria with the bumper sticker talking about your local KKK. It wasn't no singing and hand and all of that. It was, we were down there because we wanted to find out what kind of place is it in America.
Yeah.
Well, a black person can get shot down and nothing happened. We need to know about that place, and they need to know about us. We want the law to do what the law is supposed to do when stuff like that happens, not just to y'all, but to us. That's what that's about. And they flipped it, and they like they always do. As soon as they see black people with guns, it's something wrong with it. They criminals. They gonna hurt themselves. But there's 458 white militias in this country right now, and they caught up in all kind of legal stuff. You ain't seen not one of us get indicted to come before the January 6th commission. You ain't seen not one of us been put on that last subpoena group that came out where they want all the leaders and all the people who might have been online talking about January the 6th, because we're not about that. They keep wanting to twist black people into this evil. We don't know what we're doing. Everything is a joke. And a lot of black people buy it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Look, when you talk about the media, that's what the narrative is. And that's what they perpetuate to people. You know, even online, even on your phone, you're getting notifications. And those notifications are telling a narrative that isn't always in our best interest. Most instances isn't.
Well, like to wrap up the answer to your question, I'm doing great. Things are still moving along, of course. I'm hoping that things will wrap up soon, because
Mm-hmm.
we all know these charges are false and they're bogus.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that. But in spite of some of the other verdicts that we've seen come across some of these deaths in the last few weeks with the Rittenhouse verdict, and then you had
Yeah.
the verdict of the Ahmaud Arbery verdict, and then you've got some other trials that they're not talking about that are going on right now too. And when you look at all of these that are based around Second Amendment rights or
Right.
protesting, that's a certain group of cases. That's
Right.
not your regular run-of-the-mill terrorism. Like they want to charge the kid in Michigan with terrorism.
Right.
No, he melted down and shot up a bunch of people who probably was bullying him, but we don't know.
Yeah.
But that's not terrorism.
Right.
Terrorism is when you're willing to use violence to get your political point across.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrorism. Terrorism is running around trying to just hurt innocent people because they don't agree with your political cause.
Yep.
That's terrorism. Terrorism is hijacking planes, bombing buildings, taking over stuff, taking people hostage and demand because you want somebody to agree to your manifesto. That's terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Us talking about a black nation. Some people think that's terrorism. Us talking about an ethno nation. Some people think that's terrorism. Us talking about us arming ourselves just so we can defend ourselves is terrorism.
Right.
That ain't terrorism.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I digress. I said too much. You got me started. I didn't come here for that. I came to, yeah, you didn't even wish me happy birthday, bro. You know,
Whoa. I'm sorry, my brother. When's your birthday?
It was yesterday when I went to court. Mm-hmm. See how
December
in America? That's right. See, y'all need to understand everything that they're doing. There's a method to it. Okay. I went to court yesterday, state court yesterday on my birthday. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
See what I'm saying? And for y'all who don't know, I'm scheduled to go to federal court on April the 18th, April the 19th. That week, they said the trial gonna last a week. They did set a trial date at the federal level. That's the same week that they start the Kentucky Derby. Think about it. Think about it. Right. That's when they started the festivities for the Kentucky Derby. So I wonder who gonna be gambling on me.
Oh boy.
I ain't say that out loud.
Right.
Anyway, I'm sorry, brother. I can't.
Well, happy belated. Happy belated. So you're a Sagittarius.
I've always been a Sag.
Okay. All right. I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the support you've been receiving, and I find that's great. But I do remember a time when social media, you were all across social media. There was everybody, yeah, this is great. This is who these people, it was a lot of attention. And now I don't see the attention. Greg and me, when we do these interviews with you, we make sure we have the language right on the social posts. We don't, there's no guns on it. We don't want to get shadow banned because we know that that's a real thing. And then it seems like we still get blocked or something.
Let me speak to that real quick. First of all, when everything happened last year, a lot of people just lost certain details in all of the excitement. Mm-hmm. First, to all of those individuals in society, black or white or any other color, who made the mistake of thinking that I was one of those unintelligent, go out in a blaze of glory people, which I was not. I did not die in a shootout a year ago to this day with the JTFF that came to my home with this warrant to arrest me for these bogus charges. I was supposed to come out guns blazing, die all in another crazy episode, and then they could tell whatever they want. I would be satisfying the stereotype of the angry black man. That's the first thing that didn't happen. What that did, in effect, was do two things. One, it put the government in the position to now take me through the legal system, which can take quite some time and a lot of money. And the whole idea is who runs out of money first is the person going to jail, to be honest with you, okay? Because you need a lot of resources to fight the U.S. government, especially when you know that you haven't done anything wrong. So you have to look at a bigger picture. However, that started me through this journey. One of those conditions of me being free and even being able to talk to you today is that I had to agree not to conduct activities on social media. That means don't access my social media accounts, which had huge followings. Don't broadcast my show, The Facts Over Feelings, Morning Mental, which was on Instagram. Don't do that anymore. Don't you do it. Now you guys can talk about me all day,
right?
Okay, but what they pretty much did was silence one of the biggest forms of communication that I had, which was a global presence. They silenced that. So by doing that, one of the other conditions was, it would be unintelligent. And this is something I'm so glad I get a chance to say publicly. It would be unintelligent for me to jeopardize all of the law-abiding, legal gun-owning members of the NFAC, as so many people have falsely reported, by divulging their information and getting them hemmed up in the madness that was trying to consume me.
Right.
So therefore, of course, we go into sleep mode. Everybody just stands down and goes back to their Bruce Wayne and do whatever it is you do until we find out exactly what is it that the government is up to, because we haven't done anything wrong. But try telling that to the 80-some officers that showed up with, all the tactical gear on to give me a ride. Okay. There's obviously somebody who felt like something was wrong. And until we figure out what it is, everyone stands down. Right, the interesting thing about that was there were a lot of people who thought that meant that nobody should do anything. Nobody in any groups, no movement. Everybody just stood still. And a few folks tried to get back out there and try to get things going, but that's not what the people were looking for, and that's not what they had taken away from them. They had a unified presence, a unified movement. However, as you all have seen over this past year, with what happened on January the 6th,
the insurrection.
The insurrection,
for those that don't know,
which gave the government everything they needed to go after extremist groups. Well, you have to go for low-hanging fruit, and we were not low-hanging fruit because we had been silent since I got arrested. There's nothing that they could point to. As a matter of fact, if you remember, Newsweek and USA Today came out with a statement that I made, that if there had been black folks that had done that, they'd still be picking up body bags on the front lawn. You remember that?
Yeah.
You had January 6th and the subsequent investigations that happened after that. There are a lot of things that have happened across the course of the year that, of course, we didn't need to be visible. Interesting thing, though, throughout the entire summer, I've conducted Drop the Charges rallies several times in Louisville, where I've had, Genuine was on stage. We've seen a video of me and Genuine. That was at the Drop the Charges rallies. And there were NFAC members that showed up at all of those events. And we fed people in Chickasaw Park. And we went down. We even, like you said, you got to go where the people at. You can't just go to where your people at. Okay, so people, why was he up in the church? Because there's people in the church too that might end up sitting on the jury. Okay, because there's people in the hood spot where we went to that rock with the movement that might be sitting on the jury. There's people, homeless people out there, or people who doing their own thing that's trying to help the community that we partnered with that might be sitting on the jury. The bottom line was, while the media was trying to paint a negative picture of us in the media, we've been out in the streets. We just haven't been walking around with guns. And that's the part that people don't seem to understand. I love the article that USA Today just did, where they did the history of militias in America. They went all the way back to the Deacons of Defense. In that article, they indicate, most of y'all don't realize this, but the Black Panthers were a political organization. They were not a militia. That's why they had to feed the children program and all that stuff going. They were a political organization. They were not a militia. They traced the history of the militias from the Deacons of Defense all the way to the NFAC. So what has happened is that's become cemented in the mental psyche of America, that the Black militia is that coalition over there. And anybody that they see, I don't care who you are, as soon as they see you, they're going to connect you with the coalition, because that's the collective of everybody. That's what the people saw, that unity that J. Edgar Hoover was so afraid of. So, of course, it's not smart while the leader of the Black militia is facing federal indictment, state indictment, federal investigation, which means not just me, but anyone connected with me. It's not smart for you guys to still be out marching around with guns trying to put pressure on when the very thing that you claim to be against is happening to the leader.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
There's pros and cons to that, Chuck. There's a reason you don't see us, because as far as we're concerned, we're still under attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
If anybody plays chess knows that if I got your queen, I don't care what else you was trying to do on the board, you trying to do something to get the queen back, because that's your most powerful piece.
Right.
The U.S. government didn't take long to analyze the movement.
Yeah.
And realize that if we go after him, at a most we can quiet everything down and try to get things back under control. The NFAC is still here.